Well, hello then, I do hope you're all well. Now, yes, I normally do these videos for Thursday mornings, but on Wednesday night, I was at a football match, because I usually, after PMQs, I usually get on to doing these sort of videos for Thursday morning, but Wednesday, I was watching my football team. God, I wish I'd stayed at home. It was about as interesting as pulling teeth, but here we go, you know, that's how life goes. And during that day, when I was listening to PMQs, I was just working on something else. But anyway, we're here today, and on this, we're going to listen to the pearls of wisdom of Theo Usherwood, because, like, as I've said before, I used to do the PMQs live on the James O'Brien show, but we might as well just called it Prime Minister's Questions and Evasions, because it'd be a case of somebody will ask him a question, he'll dream up another question that he thinks they've asked, then he'll answer that question he's dreamed up himself, and it's about as interesting as root canal work, and the joke soon wears off. But anyway, in this rather explosive PMQs this week, the political editor, Theo Usherwood, explains how our Bodger, our Wurzel Churchill, our self-entitled Etonian prick Alexander Boris Johnson, has now decided to throw those in number 10 under the bus.
24 minutes after 12 is the time. Still plenty of people waiting to talk to me. In fact, Keir Starmer today could have chosen any one of our callers, couldn't he, to drive home the sacrifices that voters were making while Downing Street staff were partying. And before we just pick over the bones of what we've just heard, Theo, Dominic Cummings is tweeting again.
Yes, Dominic Cummings has just tweeted to ask to raise a party in the flat. This is what he alleges on November the 13th. Let me just dig out the exact tweet where he says, and this, of course, Prime Minister's Chief Advisor, will the CABSEC, that's Cabinet Secretary Simon Case, also be asked to investigate the flat party on Friday, 13th of November, the other flat parties and the flats bubble policy?
I've just done a Google. I've just done a Google. How old am I? No, because the 13th of November rang a bell with me.
Yeah. Why?
Why might it ring a bell with Dominic Cummings?
Day he left Downing Street.
The day he left Downing Street, they threw a party.
But you know the.
Sorry, carry on.
So of course he puts in stars. What does it mean? People put stars around a word?
It's just emphasis.
Emphasis, yeah, right? It's a flat party. So that's in the Prime Minister's flat, not in the. So yes.
Good Lord, I can't believe that. I mean, that's what I've got. I've got the 13th of November. At 5:43, that picture of him backlit, deliberately coming out the front door with his big box, and there is a reason why he would be particularly interested. They threw a party. Oh, bless his little cock.
But the inference from what he's saying is that Carrie Johnson threw a party.
Of course, yes.
Prime Minister's wife, because the party was in the flat,
and she is widely regarded to have orchestrated his defenestration. Yes. Shall we have a listen to the bit we missed, the opening comments from Boris Johnson just 20 or so minutes ago?
Mr. Speaker, may I begin by saying that I understand and share the anger up and down the country at seeing number 10 staff seeming to make light of lockdown measures. And I can understand how infuriating it must be to think that the people who have been setting the rules have not been following the rules, Mr. Speaker, because I was also furious to see that clip. And, Mr. Speaker, I apologise unreservedly for the offence that it has caused up and down the country, and I apologise for the impression that it gives. But I repeat, Mr. Speaker, that I have been repeatedly assured since these allegations emerged that there was no party and that no COVID rules were broken, and that is what I have been repeatedly assured. But I have asked the Cabinet Secretary to establish all the facts and to report back as soon as possible. And, Mr. Speaker, it goes without saying that if those rules were broken, then there will be disciplinary action for all those involved.
He, by the end of PMQs, of course, that contrition had completely disappeared, and he was claiming that the Labour Party shouldn't be focusing upon things that happened a year ago.
But there is a gap now between what Boris Johnson said in that opening remarks there, where he said he's been repeatedly assured that there wasn't a party, and what Number 10 has been saying up until now by saying there wasn't a party. So what Boris Johnson is doing is creating himself some wriggle room by saying, I've received the assurances that there wasn't a party, but obviously he said he was furious when he watched that video of Allegra Stratton seemingly making light of the fact that there was a party, and this is how she would defend it if she found herself in a White House-style press briefing. And of course, that's why Boris Johnson said he's now asked the Cabinet Secretary, Simon Case, that's the most senior civil servant within Number 10, to investigate whether there was a party in Number 10, and that if anybody is found to have breached the COVID rules by being at that party, then disciplinary action will be taken. So in effect, he is throwing his staff under the bus by saying, if you've been to this party that's proved, then you will face disciplinary action.
I mean, he lives in Downing Street. It's his house. It's his home.
Yes.
So this is a bit like if your wife or your son were to have a party in your home, you could reasonably claim that you were completely ignorant of it.
Well, no,
it's a bit bigger than your gaff.
Yes, it is. But
it's not in the flat, but the building. There's office.
That's why Dominic Cummings mentioned the flat. Yes. So unfortunately, at my house, I don't have an atrium. I don't have offices.
You need to work harder.
And I don't then have living quarters. So I have a house. So it is possible that Boris Johnson
30 of your closest colleagues having a bit of a knees up in the building where you live, but you were completely, supremely unaware of it.
Boris Johnson could have been in the flat, and there could have been a party downstairs that he was unaware of.
Could have been in the fridge. He's fond of fridges, isn't he, when the going gets tough?
Could have been in his study. He could have been somewhere else in the building. It's a very large building. 30 or 40 of his closest colleagues having their knees up in the house, in the building where he lives, and he is going to try and claim complete ignorance of it. He's received the repeated assurances that there wasn't a party. But interestingly, he also said that the findings of the inquiry that's been set up now by Simon Case would be passed. And this was a question Keir Starmer brought up, which was quite interesting because Keir Starmer, for actually quite a rare occasion, managed to think on his feet. Yes. And he managed to ask a question based on what the Prime Minister had said and got the Prime Minister on the record to commit to the fact that the findings of this inquiry will be passed to the Metropolitan Police. And of course, you've heard now from the Met saying they're taking this a little bit more seriously given the emergence of the video, saying that they're going to review it. It's not simply a case of Cressida reading letters of complaint. That will obviously, the findings of the case review will go to the Met as well.
You better go and check what's happened since we started picking over the bones, because possibly he's already been asked about that November the 13th party. Obviously, Twitter is not a completely reliable testament. And could you see what David Warburton asked as well? Because I tweeted about my mum, oddly, at the weekend, not getting her booster. And David Warburton, who's the Conservative MP for Somerset and Frome, said he was going to ask a question about it at PMQs, not because of me or my mum, because he was already aware of many of his constituents struggling with that. So I think a lot of my listeners will be interested. See if someone asked him about November the 13th, but you're going to have to squeeze back in again, because I've got Ben Elton coming into the studio at 12:45.
OK, I'll be as quick as I can.
Thank you very much. Theo Usherwood, LBC's political editor, once again.
Okay, there you go. He's not angry because of the behaviour of some of his staff in Number 10. He's angry at the fact because the video got leaked and got out. That's all it basically is. As we've heard on a number of occasions, the fish rots from the head down, doesn't it? And that's all the reason why he's not apologising for the fact that people within his cabal have been breaking COVID lockdown rules. No, he's only angry that the video showing them that they're just laughing at us got leaked. That's all it ever is. But what do you expect from an absolute self-entitled Etonian prick? He only cares about one person, and that's himself. And anybody who aligns himself with this man, don't be surprised when he just drops a two-ton turd on you and just drops you like a bad habit. So you deserve everything you get. But anyway, I'll keep this brief because there is a second part to this, because, as I said, PMQ's got incredibly fiery, and he got it from all corners, and there's a second part to Theo Usherwood coming back on the show to go through some very, very difficult questions that our our Alexander Boris Johnson, our self-entitled Etonian prick, had to deal with. And some of them were not from the opposition. So that'll be very, very interesting. But anyway, I shall leave the video here, and until the next time, I shall bid you farewell and take care.